So we have to use fear to try and dictate movement. Whereas if you're authentic and you know exactly what lights you up and what you love, well then every action you take will feel like inspired action. Any and all action will be inspired action, which means you'll move at leaps and bounds in comparison to other people, because like each action you take and the subsequent or the following results will be like fuel and just start compounding. You know what I mean? So like what will happen is you just, to a point, you just feel on fire because you've consumed so much fuel that basically every action that you take, you will want to take 4 to 5 more follow-up actions. And that's how you get, and that's how you get sort of like unlimited energy. And it's not that you unlock any further energy, it's that every action you're seeing results in the nanosecond that you engage. So it's sort of like, and it's not that you're getting instant results, it's that your visualization strategy, you know that whatever you visualize will be guaranteed a result by your output. And the way to get, you know, to this stage in anything in life is just thousands of hours of effort. So like anything you do for 5 years consecutively, like you will feel this way about it if you put in, you know, an average effort, you know, 2 hours a day. Like it's so little, but the problem is until you try and, you know, like you try to learn new things, you try to start businesses, like until you start actively trying, what will happen is you won't fully understand or comprehend the like the vision aspect of it. So you're able to visualize, but you've got no prior experience of visualizing and then later attaining. So that's what you have to build, because that's why so many people run out of steam and run out of fuel in their business in the early stages, is because they can't hold on to that. Well, they can't hold on to the vision, and they can't fucking motherfucking webs, but they can't hold on to the vision, and they can't feel like they have it already, because they have no prior experience. So it's sort of like if you've ever like been on a weight loss journey, if you've ever lost weight, oh, motherfucking spiders, motherfucking spiders. We'll see how far we go. I'm not a big fan of spiders. Nah, we go back. I am not a spider dude. Woo! But, alright, to finish it off. So, the thing is they have no prior experience. So if you've been on a weight loss journey before, what'll typically happen is when you say I'm going to diet and exercise, well, you know that if you do, like, you will get results. You know what I mean? But if you've done it 10 to 20 times, you know, countless times, you've been to the gym thousands of times, you've you know, followed a strict diet thousands of times for thousands of meals, like, what will happen? Okay, and like when we're talking, if you go to the gym 4 times a week, you know what I mean, that's like 200 times a year. So like within 3 years you're quite high there in the context of like it takes only a couple of years to get those 1,000 to become an expert, like to get that level of proficiency and that level of experiential data, because essentially that's what you're building, is the experiential data to be able to know without a shadow of a doubt that if you take X action, it will equal Y result. Woo! Oh man. I like mountains, but they show you how unfit you are at times. Because whenever there's an incline, you'll start breathing super heavy. And you're just like, whoa, I didn't realize it was that steep. But it's sort of like, I don't know. For me, there's no destination that I seek to reach when I come out hiking. It's more just about being in that state of flow where you just like distracted, you know, distracted by the present moment, where you're focused on, you know, the steps that you take. How cool is that? You know, where you're focused in on everything that's around you. When you're heighten your smell to being able to smell like the water, being able to smell the flowers, being able to smell all the different scents. There's something about that that's quite magical, because it's sort of like, I don't know if it would be genetic memory, but it unlocks memories, because you got to understand the olfactory, which is our sense of smell, is our strongest link to memory. So, and you got to think, yeah, it might just be, you know, conscious memory that we understand it to be linked to now, but who says it wouldn't be genetic memory? Because you would think that if genetic memory remembers predators, it would also remember distinct smells. Distinct, like how would you know the areas that the predators are in? Well, the most efficient way would be through smell of the floral arrangements and understanding, you know, through past memories, different areas where the predators would hunt and the smells associated with it. Like, you know what I mean? But the other thing is it's also to, you know, sight and things like that, and sound. So like, yeah, it's just every time I'm out in these places, especially in specific climates, like it's a completely different experience when it's, you know, like 10 to 18 degrees than when it's, you know, 44. When it's 44, it's an oppressive, just very thick place. But when it's cooler, you can sort of differentiate the smells. And it's so funny like that, because so much of like the human body is not even understood in the context of like we don't even use half of our like our natural like tendencies or traits or abilities. So like for example, like when you're out hiking and stuff like that, you're on uneven terrain and you're having to use fine motor skills in your muscle movements and stuff like that, and you know, do different sorts of calculations on like how to stand and where to step and things like that. So like you're utilizing multiple different ones, but also then when we get into the brain, you're also creating a state of mental like fluidity where you're doing different things like all over the shop. So you're having to calculate a step and then look for danger, and then, you know, calculate a step and then look for danger, and, you know, other things like that, that your brain sort of has to do multiple, like go in multiple different directions simultaneously, which allows for it to perform at a higher level if you think of it as like training. It's why when we get people who have, you know, a lot of theoretical intelligence and low experiential intelligence, they tend to not be able to translate it into like active practice. Whereas the person who has heavy experiential knowledge can apply and primarily runs through active practice, but also can learn the theoretical side at a far greater rate. So that's the downside to only ever being someone who focuses on theoretical knowledge instead of going out there and doing, is when we do that, we don't, like we may get some benefits to the like we may get some benefits to the like increases in learning, but it's quite negligible in the comparison, because the thing we got to understand is that muscle memory is a lot more effective, but when you learn how to do something, you sort of you learn it to a point of understanding it, to where you understand the key like functionings of it, but it's sort of like in a state of flow or in a state of motion, like so. Woo. So like the key thing to think of is when we learn something from textbooks, we learn in a very rigid environment with set rules and principles. When we learn through the state of action, we learn in a state of flow where there is only reality, like what is. Like, you know, if I throw a ball up, it will come down. There's no theoretical this, theoretical that. Like, there's only what I can experience and what I can test and measure. And when we understand this is the fun part. When we understand this, we can reach maximum learning by being able to intertwine periods of theoretical knowledge with like the action. And what we're able to do is we're able to use the theoretical knowledge to refine and improve. So we get the base skills through the active doing, and then we refine and improve our skills through theoretical knowledge and practices. That's the maximum efficiency, because the theoretical is unproven. So even if it's proven, it's unproven with you. Whereas like learning by doing, that's proven by you. So it's more certainty. Oh Jesus. Sometimes it sucks when you're walking and you get the sun in your eyes, and then you forget to look for spiderwebs, and you're just like, is there one? Oh, this is what I mean by it's Queensland's too hot, man. Australia's too hot. Like it's probably like 26 degrees at the moment, but it's quite cool in the air. But the humidity, like, has just got me. Well, maybe it's also the mountain, but like the up and the down. But it's sort of just like, yeah, I feel like I'm sweating more than I should be. Ooh. But it's like, yeah, it's awesome to be out, but because it's something just about the air of being around, you know, so much vegetation and plants that, like, you got to think the air's going to be so much more pure. And, you know, oxygen does play a very big part in our overall immune system. Wow, there's so many little beautiful spiders around. That's the funny thing. Like, everything that causes me fear, like for me, when something scares me, like spiders, I have to understand it, because through understanding, I gain sort of like knowledge, or like when I understand something, it just ceases to scare me. And I find spiders to be just the most fascinating creatures. They're risky here because some of them can kill you quite quickly. So like, it's always so funny because I love to just watch them, because, you know, while they are, you know, a spider and all of that, they are a form of consciousness, and they have their own independent thought, you know, and their own independent will. And you can see that when you watch insects' behavior. If you watch an individual insect, you will see patterns of individualistic behavior, which is so funny. Like, you watch an ant on a table, that ant's going to cruise around and explore the table just like we would, you know? Like, it's funny. You put your hand in front of an ant, and the ant will look for a way around, or it'll turn around and go back. Like, when ants feel you walking past them, they sort of panic. And it's so funny because we're led to believe that, you know, they're just these mindless drones. And we're led to believe that insects are just these mindless drones. But it's only through understanding how, even though they know nowhere near as complex of a consciousness as human beings, like we are far more complex, they are still a form of consciousness. So we do share that sort of fucking motherfuckers. Oh man. Woo. I hate that. When you can just feel it. But yeah, they are a form of, you know, sort of like they're a life form. We're a life form. Therefore, you know, at some level we are the same. And that's a funny thing, is this sort of reductionist way of looking at life for connectivity. So like when we think about spirituality, right? And when we think about like I am connected to, like, for example, these trees over here, you know, I am these trees, they are me, you know, I am the dirt. Because the thing is I eat food that comes from the dirt. Those trees eat food that comes from the dirt. Like we all, you know, do this and that, or the trees eat the food from the dirt, or the nutrients from the dirt to produce the food that I eat. So like being able to reduce our connection to everything down to how we like like how we are similar, or how we share you know, like life, is usually the easiest way. But we can also do this in the context of relationships. So like if you're a different culture to me, I can look to reduce your culture to the points of connection that we share, you know? So like, for example, if there was a Muslim and a Christian, right? Well, a Muslim believes in, you know, doing right by the community, doing right by their family, doing right by the, you know, the mosque. And the Christians believe in doing right by the community, doing right by, you know, the family, doing right by the priests, doing right by the church. Like, so you would just reduce it down to all the points of similarity and focus in on them. And that's how you increase connection. So like if you're ever in life and you're feeling disconnected from, you know, what it means to be alive, all you have to do is start whoop, like to start basically like noticing all the points of connection, and you'll gradually start to feel more and more connected, which is really cool. Because like what that means is whatever you feel in lack of, if you want more of it in your life, all you have to do is go out and get it, and you can have it. Now, it's not saying that you go out and you seek, you know, if I want to be, if I, like, for example, take a example of love. If I'm feeling lonely and I want to feel love, like, I can go out into the world, you know, and feel love and be in love with people. You know, I can wave to people, I can smile, I can say hello, I can be polite, you know, I can interact with people to the same, okay? It's not that I need someone to reciprocate love to me for me to be able to feel it. That's the wrong way to look at it. So it's like if I want to be wealthy, I can go out there and act wealthy. Well, not act, but I can take actions of a wealthy person. So like, to think about this, and the reason I use wealth is because wealth is not just financial. So how does a wealthy person act in their career? Well, the wealthy person isn't going to sacrifice their values or, you know, their mental state for money. They don't need to. Like, we got to understand that it's like being wealthy and being successful in life, okay? Like, money's the wrong metric to try and measure against it, because like if money's not your motivator, the be all end all in your life, okay, then money's not your motivator. And if money's not your motivator, you got to find out what is. And for most people, it's, you know, interpersonal relationship. You know, it's to have wealth, health, and happiness, and they're all interrelated, because you'll never be happy unless you have the wealth to be able to only ever interact and deal with the people who bring joy to your life. Just to the same, you'll never be healthy if your work causes you so much stress that it affects your immune system and your sleep. So that's the key, is they're all interrelated, but you have to figure out what are each of them for you. You know, like, what is your definition of health? What is your definition of wealth? Now, think about finances as resources. How much resources would you need to have before they become invaluable, or before they become worthless to you? So think about it like this. If I give you a 10,000 litre tank of water, and then I come and I try and sell you more water, you're probably not going to want it. You know what I mean? Because you've already got enough water. So, like, once you have enough money, whatever that level is, everyone's got to determine it for themselves. But basically, once you have enough money, more is just accumulating more. So, like, once you work out that point, then it's quite easy to work out the other aspects of wealth. You know, and that's the time. Like, how much time do you want to spend working? How much time would you want to spend with your family? How much time would you want to spend traveling, doing whatever you want? Like, there's no point working for 40, 50 years just so that you can retire for 10 years. What's the point of that? You may as well just figure out what a great life means to you, and then just seek to live that life every day. You know what I mean? And live your life that way. Oh, because that's what true wealth is. True wealth is when you truly feel like every day, woo, you're living your best life. Thankfully, I used to skateboard when I was younger, do downhill. So I have really good core, like, stability. So whenever I slip, I always catch myself, but it's always funny because it's sort of like that feeling of falling. But yeah, all right, well, you have a great day. Bye.